Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today there is something piping hot in the oven. Yes, these delicious cookies. Not only are these cookies delicious, but they are vegan and gluten-free. They are peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. So yummy, easy to make, wonderful texture. Just look at that. You can't even tell it's vegan or gluten-free. So if you want to learn how to make this delicious vegan and gluten-free chocolate chip cookie recipe, stay tuned. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with the dry ingredients, and the first dry ingredient is millet flour. I am using this Bob's Red Mill brand, but you can use whatever brand as long as it is millet flour. I am going to be using 1 cup of millet flour. After which I am going to be using tapioca starch, and I am using half a cup of tapioca starch. After that, we are going to use cassava flour, and I am using a 1/4 cup of cassava flour. And that is all the flours we're going to be using: millet flour, tapioca starch, and cassava flour. Then we'll put in the rest of the dry ingredients and mix it all up together, and then move on to the wet ingredients as well. Okay, so we're also going to use sugar. I'm using coconut sugar, and we're going to be using a cup of coconut sugar. I like to use coconut sugar because it's a less refined type of sugar. Like when you compare it to cane sugar and all of that, it is less refined. I use slightly less than a cup, but approximately a cup of coconut sugar. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt or regular salt, whatever salt you have. Actually, this is kosher salt, not even sea salt. And 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And that is all the dry ingredients that we have in this recipe. So having put in all the dry ingredients in there, it is time to mix everything up together properly to make sure there's no lumps or bumps. Alternatively, you could also sieve each flour before you put it in. That way you wouldn't have to mix it as much, but either way works. And now to the wet ingredients. I'm using olive oil, half a cup of olive oil, but you can use whatever oil of your choice. This is a vegan recipe, so a vegan oil. You can use coconut oil, avocado oil, but I'm using olive oil. And then I'm going to pour that into the dry ingredients, mix it up a little bit. And then I'm going to put in coconut milk, full fat coconut milk preferably, a 1/4 cup of that. I ended up putting the coconut milk into a separate bowl first, because ideally you want to mix the wet ingredients together first, right? But I just ended up putting the olive oil directly into the dry mix. But for now, let's put that coconut milk aside and put in the peanut butter. I like this peanut butter brand, and that's what I was showing you earlier, because it's made out of just 100% peanuts and nothing else. So it's a really great brand that I love to use, because you know sometimes peanut butter has sugar and all kind of other weird stuff in it, right? So the goal here is to use 1 cup of peanut butter. So I'm just getting myself that 1 cup of peanut butter. I'm pouring that into the mix. It's pretty sticky, so I'm making sure to get everything that's stuck to the cup. And then mix it up. And then at this point I added in the coconut milk. But you could have added it in beforehand, you know, whatever works for you. Or add all the wet ingredients separately and then pour them into the dry ingredients. As long as you get everything properly mixed, but do not overmix, then it should be fine. At this point, I'm going to put in my vegan chocolate chips. You can use any brand. I got this one from the bulk section of my grocery store, and I'm using 1 cup of the vegan chocolate chips. I will just fold that into the cookie dough. And that is actually the last ingredient in this recipe. So you see everything is vegan, gluten-free, and it comes out so good and yummy. So just fold that in gently. That is the chocolate chips folded gently into the dough. And your cookie dough is ready once you're done. Okay, so now it's time to line your baking pan with oil. Put your parchment paper on there and get everything set up to bake your cookies. At this point, you can also put your oven on to 370 degrees, because we will be baking this for 20 minutes thereabouts at 370 degrees. And this is going to give you between 20 to 30 cookies, depending on how small or large you make your cookies. But yes, this will give you a good number of cookies to enjoy. So I'm just, you know, making the dough balls for each of the cookies, and then I'll flatten it out a bit and get it popping in the oven. This pan ended up not being enough to take all those cookies, so I had to use a different pan to get all my cookies in there. So that's what I'm just doing, lining this glass baking pan and putting in the rest of the cookies into there, the cookie doughs into there. And then when I'm done with that, flatten each cookie dough ball a little bit. It's going to spread out a bit after baking, so you want to make sure there's enough space between them. And then also I like to use a fork to make all these nice designs on my cookies. So that's just what I'm doing. You don't have to, but I like the way it turns out. So hey. I'm just getting the rest of those cookie doughs ready for baking. Flattening them out. Designing them with a fork. And voila, it is ready to go into the oven, your preheated oven at 370 degrees for 20 minutes. I'm just putting out that wooden thing over there to take in the hot piping hot cookies when it is ready, which it is. Voila, look at our cookies after 20 minutes. Is looking and feeling good. And it is ready. Of course, let it cool down a bit before you eat it so the texture is all well formed up. But yes, look at these cookies. They look good, they taste good, it's easy to make, it's vegan, it's gluten free, it's so delicious. Okay guys, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Why don't you take out some time and make these peanut butter cookies? They are delicious, so they'll be worth it. And especially if you have people who are vegan or gluten free in your family, or you are, it's a great choice for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you try out this recipe. Till the next one, guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Bye!